Welcome to Inspired Canvas. My name is Mama D. At least that's what everybody calls me. You can call me whatever you want. But today I'm excited. This is our first live video. So we are live. We have a live audience. We have one person right now, Smudger. Gotta start somewhere. So thank you, Allison, aka Smudger, for tuning in. I am so grateful for all of you. Even if you're on replay, please let me know what you think of this painting. What we've done is I have painted it and recorded while I painted it and then sped it up so that you're not having to watch the entire 2.5 hours that it took me to paint the painting. And I broke it down in two parts. And the first part, which is our first one, like our live one of two, so there'll be a one after this. This one, we're just going to establish everything, and then the second part, we're going to do the details, and we're going to auction it off with no reserve. So if it doesn't sell, then it'll go into the shop, which I do have a shop. It's at 1111decks.com. I've been painting for years. I got out of it for 2 years. I'm just getting back into it. So this was me getting my brushes wet again. It's not my best work, but I thought I'd still share it with you, give you a little bit of inspiration. I do a lot of things wrong, but eventually we work it out and we get a basic little rolling wave. The idea here was to get my brushes wet. So I'm excited to share it with you. How are you, Smudger? I want to say thank you to all my replay crew as well as the live audience. And as always, I've thrown some calorie-free snacks in the replay lounge. Now, I also have a second channel. It is called 1111 True Crime. Been in that for a long time. So you probably know me from there. And if you are new, welcome into Inspired Canvas. All right, are you ready, Smudger? Are you ready at home? I'm excited to share this. Like I said, it was a learning process. All right, let's get over here. This is part one. And after this part, we'll go ahead and go over and do a second live where hopefully we auction it off. Okay, here we go. Let me get the painting off the screen for you. It's beginning to thunder a bit. Well, I pray you're safe, Smudger. If you need to go, go. I got this, but I sure appreciate you trying. Now, you guys, the first thing I'm doing is just a little outlining. I wouldn't really call it an underpainting. I'm going to put my lotion on real quick. I wouldn't really call it an underpainting at this point. It's just a theory on the canvas, which is how I usually start with just an idea. Doesn't always work out that way. So we're just dilly-dallying, and you know, what I do is I just take a little tiny bit of blue, mix it with some white paint, make it like ink by adding water, and then just paint it on as if this is what I want to happen. Right, I totally understand if you're in and out, Smudger. I get it. Totally. By the way, if you are into the lotion, we have at 1111decks.com, we have Jersey Girls lotion, which is all organic, no chemicals, and it's heavenly. And I do sell, it's our #1 seller. So this is what it looks like. And you can find that at 1111decks.com. So I'm not sure where I'm going with this guy. I just don't want it to be the main focus. So I'm just like, let's get some color on the board. And I didn't want it to be an overly blue sky. I just wanted something that was like back there, like a backdrop, right? So one of the things I do also is I use a thicker canvas. So it is a 1/2 inch thick. And so I also paint the sides, top and bottom to give a very finished look. So you'll see me dabbing the sides. We're darkening this up, and I almost feel like I went too dark, so we're going to have to work it back a little bit. But acrylics are translucent, and so we just have to keep pushing that paint into the canvas to where it blends appropriately. And one of the things I like to do is a lot of the times I'll take my white, which I do use heavy bodied acrylics, but I'll take my white and I'll add a little bit of water to it till it's like almost like a not quite milk, a little thicker, like a not quite set up like pudding. I got food on my mind, you guys. And I'll coat the sky, and where I'm going to paint water, I'll coat it in that prior, just to allow me to blend easier. You can see I didn't do that here, and I'm actually struggling because of it. So that's a correction I would do if it were me doing this one again. But like I said, I was just kind of like, okay, let's get back in the swing of this. But it does come together okay. I like it. I like also, rather than just painting clouds, a lot of the times after I get the lighting the way I want and the sky, I will enhance the highlighted areas to make them into, or develop them, I should say, more, and they become the clouds. So in this case, that white swirl that I've got, well, not white, but grayish blue swirl there, I'm developing this one rather than applying clouds. So the way I do that is where it's already dark, I will add more color. And where it's light, I will add a highlight and just kind of work with what's already on the canvas to see where it's going. That's if you want a muted sky. Like I said, the sky isn't our main focus here. I hope everybody's having a good day today. I hope you're doing well. I'm surprised more of our family didn't show up. A lot of people were telling me how they were looking forward to it. We had a lot of people that were wanting to participate, so maybe there'll be a lot of replay. I hope so. I'm going to do it no matter what. I love it. I'm hoping for new faces too. Maybe there'll be some people out there that are like, I love to paint. I want to paint with you. And I think the time lapse is a good way to express it, to share it. It's so fascinating. Thank you. I like watching time lapses, especially of paintings. But now you see where the cloud kind of like got developed, where I never painted a cloud. I just allowed the canvas to kind of like push and pull it by strengthening the lighter areas that were there and the darker areas. So we're basically playing with shadow and light. And I'm going between my dark ashy blue and my white. Smudger says, I think a lot of replay. Nikki may be having the same storms. Yeah, I know there's a lot of storms out there. So everybody on replay, I hope that you're safe. And I send a lot of love to all of the family. We do have a few more people here, so that's good. And I welcome you in. I am so thankful for the support. Okay, I mess with this guy for days, don't I? That's why we had to time lapse this one, because I just putted. I puttered. But sometimes you have to put. All right, now what we're doing, you guys, we got the sky. It's definitely its own sky. But now what I'm doing is I'm just trying to add in a really nice horizon line where the sea is out there. Now, in theory, I should have probably went with a lot darker of wave back here to start with, and then lightened it up. But, you know, sometimes as an artist, we do with whatever color we feel like using. And this was what felt yummy to me. Like, that's the color I wanted to see. And water is all different colors. If you go to the Bahamas or to Tahiti, that's completely different than if you go to the ocean near Oregon. You know, the waters are always different colors. So you can pretty much paint the water any way you like. Now, the goal here, let me grab a drink real quick. right now, I'm trying to keep that light in the water needs to relate directly to the light in the sky. And so the most light is almost in the center of our focal point in the sky. And so we want to get that light to play on the water. And with that, I feel like we're just making sure we don't have any hard edges. Right now I'm rocking in just a slightly lighter version of the water. When I say I'm rocking it in, I actually do that rocking motion with my brush, and that gives us all kinds of little waves in the water. So we've got a little bit of movement already showing up in the water. Now, obviously, we have a dark side of our sky on the left, and then we have a light side on the right. So with that being said, our darker side of the water is going to be on the same side as the darker part of the sky. The lighter part of the water will be in the center, and then the medium tone or hue is going to be over on the right. I hope that made sense. But we just follow the lighting of the sky throughout making the water. Now, with acrylics being translucent, I do go back and I play and I play and I play till I get the definitions that I'm looking for, till I get the blending the way I like. So that's why it took me 2.5 hours to paint this little painting. Now this happens to be an 8 by 10, but I also have done bigger paintings. Let's pause it for just a minute. And I'll come up here and I'll show you. Now, I do paint more in-depth paintings. They take me a lot longer than 2 hours. This one took me 6 hours. And this is just of a beautiful ocean wave. I really love this one. I love the sky. I love the way the light plays, and it came out different, right? It has a lot of character. And so when I say I'm just in this one, I'm just getting my brushes wet again. You can see that if we don't practice, we're going to lose our skills too. So we've got to stay in tune. And that's something I didn't do for the last 2 years, is I've been doing different kind of paintings where you pour the paint, which is so much fun, and simple, and you get a reward right away. There's not a lot of tediousness to it. But I got inspired to get back into painting. And so a few months ago, I started doing it. And now I'm back into my skill set, if you will. But this was one of the first that I decided to get back into painting with. So we've got definite movement in the back, and I like that. We're getting close to moving on to the wave. I like it to have a softer look, so that it leaves more to the imagination. Smudger, oh, Betty Carter's here. Hello, Betty. How are you, lovely? There we go. We've got a few more people coming in. I got to keep it on chat because my phone keeps switching. Smudger says, by the looks of the sky in your painting, a storm is brewing. Kind of looks that way. Now, there should be no need for me to mess with this water like this, but I'm enjoying it so much and I can't seem to quit. So you'll have to forgive me. I just love painting. And I get carried away. I'm like, what else can we do to this little area here? Now, I definitely struggle with the wave itself. For some reason, I couldn't quite get the flow of the water in the way that I wanted it to look till the very end. And it got me frustrated. I was like, I'm not giving up. I know I've painted much harder waves, so we're just gonna stick with it. So let's get into the sand here. I appreciate you, Betty, tuning in. Now, the sand undergoes all kinds of things. And finally, I got it to where I loved it. But it took a bit. It took a bit. Like I said, I was like, okay, what did I used to do to make the sand? It didn't come back to me real easy. Had to take my time. Now, I was born in Florida, and so I'm very familiar with the ocean. And one of the things that a lot of people they'll do when they're painting the ocean is they'll paint darker sand further away from the water, and then they'll put the sand where the water's lapping up. They'll make that lighter. But that isn't really what sand does. Sand is actually the opposite. It's much darker where the water's been because it's wet. And the further away you go, the lighter the sand usually is. Oh, Betty, you said you love my painting? Thank you. Thank you so very much. So we're just blending it out, and we're going to leave a base there so that we can put a wash. The wash is where a wave has already come up crested and basically climaxed, and then it lays flat. Hold on one second. It becomes almost see-through except for that foam, and it's receding and being replaced by the next wave. And so the wash is something interesting. Now, I tried this, you guys. I end up, what am I doing? So I'm flicking dark little colors like a little bit of black, a little bit of brown, a little bit of white to make pebbles. But I end up not being happy with my sand and end up washing over it with more paint. So I don't feel this was a necessary step in hindsight. You know what I'm saying? Like unnecessary. I could have left it alone there. The sand looked perfectly fine. But later I come back and I'm like, I want my sand a lot lighter. And so I paint over it. But otherwise, it was a good technique. I mean, it really did. I just wish I had started with lighter colors. So this is a very olive green, and it's got some yellow in it, and it's like a grayish olive green. And that's what I'm using, not only for the base of the sand. Now there's my wash line. And try to do your wash line like as if you're drawing a ribbon through the sand. Because that's what it looks like. It's like a ribbon that just goes along the sand. So we're just playing, we're just underwashing, underpainting the wash in this picture. Give us an idea that that's all going to be that. And trying to accomplish the direction of the wave. Here's where I'm like, this is too dark. We want to lighten this up. So I paint over all our beautiful pebbles. And I could have put them right back, but I was like, yeah, we'll just keep going. And I don't take that real light color deep down into the water far, because I'm trying to get the actual sand itself to feel more like you would want to walk on it with bare feet. and it felt too dark. So we were lightening it up, which I like that a lot better. Now this is before I put it on my easel. After this, I do my paintings on my easel, and I love that so much better. But at the time, I couldn't get to my easel. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to paint it right here. I think I have a little office paper holder behind it, holding it up. Now, when you build up wash, you don't want to go straight to white because it's foamy. And so you want a really soft look. And in that, I'm basically using a light tan. And that allows me to have some depth, some shadows, as well as then the highlights are going to stand out a lot better. Now what we're doing is we're curving that wave in the direction of the rest of the water. So it's cool to have a wave, but we also have to connect the water so that it lays flat. So whatever angle that we painted that wave at, we now have to draw it down and bring it flat, meaning that we have to continue the direction of the water and bring it. Also, like I'm doing here, add a little bit of a highlight. Doesn't have to be black. You don't want to use black, but whatever color you're using for your sand or your darker shadows, you want to put a little shadow underneath that lip, but you want it to be tiny. You just want it to be this idea that there's an extra level there. That makes it 3D because it lifts the water up off the sand. Now we'll come back and add highlights and a little bit of glistening and so forth on that sand. I'm still trying to lighten it up, but I don't want to take away right near the water. So I'm being careful there to just lighten up as it goes away. Now we're just blending it in. So we're painting this painting basically without color, and then we're going to go in and add the color afterwards. And I do that often. Is I'll paint it in either a gray shades of gray, 50 shades of gray, no, but shades of gray, or shades of a shadow color, and put the highlights where I want, and then I'll go in and I'll add the paint. Sometimes I'll just add a very thinned version of the paint to create a glaze over a color. There, now that looks like I'd walk my feet in it. Now we're adding the edge of the foam, and you can see we're leaving that shadow intact, but we're just focusing right above that line. And then we're just gently working our way back in like zigzags that play all over, so you can kind of tell that it's the wash. In other words, you can still see through it. You can see sand through it. It keeps taking me to top chat, and I don't know why. Now I'm adding in some shadows, which the wave itself casts a shadow. So we have to push the shadow back out. And we want to go the full length of the wave. We want to have a shadow under it all. And every brush stroke is basically in the direction of the water. Now we're adding our first colors. And this is a sea green. I took blue, I took green, mixed it together, and I'm just putting some dark areas, but they're not going to last because we're going to be adding a ton of crashing waves and all kinds of stuff, but it's implied. You can get the feel for it a little bit, and you can see where the eye of the wave is intentionally going to be put. And here we're going from flat and we're continuing to go in the direction of the wave itself. So we're bringing that across there and then curving up. And I'm actually pulling the brush up into it rather than painting down because water is pushing. Now I do have a better setup than this recording, but I didn't want to jump right into my other recordings. I wanted to share with this one where I was getting my brush wet after a time off. And I thought you might enjoy it with me. All right, so we've lightened the value, and I've also added a little bit more blue. And we're just going to lay that all the way across there. All right, good deal. Now the goal is to think about the wave, and we have to have some blending. It's not going to go from that light color to the dark color straight off. And so what we now have to do is there's a little bit of to and fro where we're going to be pulling the dark up into it while we're pulling the light down into the dark. But in a wave, you want it to almost feel like you can look through it. So you're looking at a translucent shadow, which can be difficult to achieve. We're starting to see it. We're starting to see it. All right, now we're adding a much lighter color. And we're not going to go down as far, I don't think. Or maybe I do. I'll have to wait and see. So you guys, have you ever been to the ocean? Let me know if you've been to the ocean. If you've actually seen a wave in real life. I think a lot of us have, but there's some people that haven't. And I'm trying to really play this out in my head, how this wave is turning. So I outline the top of the wave, and then I pretend that the water is flowing over. And so we're continuing that outline way over to create that eye of the wave. Now we're putting some dark shadows beneath the wave, and we've got to incorporate that into the wave without losing our blending. Now, for those of you that are like, I enjoy this, but this woman talks nonstop. I don't blame you. I'm also going to be releasing this time lapse with no commentary. That'll be out tomorrow. So, for those that don't want to listen to me jammer on. Okay, we're lightening that up. Now we're going for the eye. Now, I didn't know how light I wanted the eye to be, but we just go with it. There we go. We're starting to get it. It's starting to come together. It definitely takes a while. I want to thank all of you that are tuning in now and viewing this with me. Greatly appreciate it. Yeah, we've got about, I would say about 5 more minutes of the part 1, and then we'll join over for part 2. And if you're interested in the painting, it will be available. We're going to put it out there for bid. And there's no reserve on the painting. So, ooh, it's coming together, you guys. This is the fun part when you get to that point to where you can feel that once you add your splashing waves, your crashing, big puffs of water, it's going to be beautiful. So now we're lightening it up and we're getting that glow in there, which, it's beautiful. That glow. Now you kind of want to keep the eye clean in the sense that if you make it too indistinct, you'll lose your focal point of where people are going to look at the painting. So you definitely want to make it clear where the highlights are. Oh yeah, we've got it going on. Wait till we add all the crashing part and the white parts of the wave. So right now we're adding back in some shadow. And you can take a little bit of that dark like I'm doing and go along just across the top. And it'll give you a little bit of depth there. And it brings it into that 3D visual appeal, right? Painting is one of the most soothing things for me. And it feels like therapy. It heals my mind, my soul, my body. And I find going on nature walks in the morning and looking at all nature helps my painting out, as well as it is so healthy to get out there in nature. So I take my little dogs on walks and enjoy nature in the mornings. With my other channel, we do true crime, which can be very heavy, a lot of times heartbreaking. So we have to balance out that negative energy, I feel. All right, now we've got a lighter greenish blue, and we're just putting a glaze. So it's see-through and translucent, and we're just using it to paint where we're going to have the wash. All right, you guys, we are getting close to the end of part 1. I'm hoping you'll join me for part 2. I told you it was a time lapse, so time went quick. I hope you're enjoying yourself. I hope you're having a wonderful day. And I'm going to be doing a painting a week. So there's also going to be some beginner level how-tos. And so they'll be very simplified paintings where I actually do structure of how we do it. There's my Nikki UK. Oh, honey. Nikki says, sorry, catching up. Internet is going mad. Totally mad. Had a really hot day now, start of a storm. Nikki, take care, love. I knew something was up. I knew a lot of my babies, a lot of my family has gone through storms. So I appreciate you popping in. Please stay safe and know our love is with you. Now look how green and how light that eye looks with that darker shadow beneath, because it gave us the contrast. Also outlining the edge of the wave gave it a 3D feel, right? We're getting close to part 2. Yeah, this is a fun one. Hi, Amy Dune. How are you? Welcome to the channel. Yep. Smudger said, Nikki, Smudger said, I said to Mama, you more than likely have my storm. Yeah. I'm just glad you're safe right now, and I hope you continue to be. Now I'm adding in just some shadows in the wave itself. In other words, even though it's translucent, there's going to be some denser areas. And so we're just hitting a little bit of that so that the other areas glow. Whoops, I just bumped the camera. I do have a better recording setup now, but like I said, I was like, well, I'm getting my paintbrush wet. I'm going to share it, inspire someone to dig their paints back out. Mama, thank you. Lucky our storms are not bad like you get. Well, we get some horrific storms for real. Yes. All right, you guys. Let's see here. What do we have? I think that's it for part 1. I do a couple little things, but not much. I can't wait to add the foam on and the crashing part of the wave and all the white part. Right now, you can see I'm adding just little highlights across the top there. Yep, yep. Are you ready? Let's see. With 1 minute left. Ooh, that just really, I went back and redid that green and it made it pop. That's why you got to keep going back. You reached 31 today? Wow. I know that's in Celsius, right? We have Fahrenheit here in the US. Nikki, I went to mail out all my deck orders, and the US has a postal the post office is closed. We're on holiday. I didn't even realize it. So I can ship everything out tomorrow morning. Yeah, I waited to go to the post office till they opened up after lunch, so it was most of the morning I busied myself. And I got all my packages ready to go from the deck party. I go to the post office and it's still closed. I'm like, why? Why? And so I didn't get to ship anything out, but I will in the morning. All right, my lovelies. And thank you to all of you that continued to place orders even after the deck party, because it added up to be a fantastic week. I am very blessed and I thank you. Thank you. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed that. The colors look so beautiful, Smudger says. Well, thank you. All right, not a pain. I just thought it was funny because I'm like, why isn't this post office open? But in the United States, we are celebrating the end of slavery today. And thank God it did end. So, because it should have never happened, right? All right, you guys, I don't have really a closer over here, so I'm just going to end it. I'm too new over here. I haven't made a closing because I want to pick a song that represents our painting, right? And I haven't stumbled, I've been looking, but I haven't found anything I'm like, oh, that's it. So I don't have a closer. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this little, the picture of the painting up. And let's see, I'll go over there, put the painting up, and we're going to go to part 2. Now, if you love this painting and you're like, oh, I would love to have it, you're going to find out how it can be yours, all right? Maybe, unless somebody wants it more than you. You never know. Or maybe it won't sell at all. Maybe it'll just go into the shop for sale. We'll have to find out together. But if you would like to continue on with me to part 2, this is where the magic happens. Everything comes to life. That wave is going to crash. And we're going to have water just sudsing up, but we're going to be able to see the sand underneath the water. So even though it's sudsy, the wash is going to be just like at the beach where you can see underneath it. I'm excited to share that with you. You not on the Scots there, Mama? I don't even know what that means, lovely. While your weather is a bit cooler. Yeah, my weather today is chilly, actually. All right, you guys, we're going to get over here to our painting. And this is where I leave you.